Welcome back to Link by Golf. I'm your host Ross McGuire, and this week's episode is from the podcast I co-host with Colin Gray, which is called Both Sides of Par. In this one, Colin asked me about my visit to the Srixon head office for Europe in Asheville. Let's go over to the episode.
Hey folks, and welcome to Both Sides of Par. This is the golf podcast that comes at golf from both ends of the handicap spectrum. I'm Colin Gray, joined by Ross. As always, Ross, how are you getting on?
Fantastic, Colin. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. It's absolutely bucketing it down today here, so no golf today, but actually it's been a pretty good week otherwise. But I will admit, not played golf. I was away on a wee ski trip, so a different type of sport the last few days. So yeah. What about you, Ross? You played much?
Played a couple of times, and I've had a couple of, practice sessions and stuff. Had a golf lesson, so yeah, done a good amount over the last couple of weeks, and then had a wee break the last few days. So yeah, that's been nice as well.
Aye, cool. Well, we should log those for next time, because we're going to get into the Srixon visit today, aren't we? As we said last week.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, the golfing journey's on the back burner for today, but certainly a great experience I had over at Srixon's headquarters for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did that even come about? Like, what are your connections at Srixon? Like, how did it end up that you were in the Srixon? Is it the factory or the work? Like, what even do you call the facility you're at?
Yeah, so it is the headquarters for Europe, but really it's there for custom fit. So when people go to a professional or a range that does custom fitting that offers Srixon, then all the orders that are made across Europe are then sent to the places called Asheville. So Asheville is kind of between Farnborough and Guildford really, or maybe Farnborough and Woking sort of. So yeah, hundreds and thousands of orders come in from all across Europe every week to there, and then they are basically built from scratch. The heads are obviously pre-built, the shafts are pre-built, the grips are obviously pre-made. Everything else, in terms of putting them together, is done in that factory, and it's just really, really cool. It's Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for golfers. It's fantastic.
I'd imagine. I mean, I can imagine the heads are obviously pre-built, and the grips you're probably not going to change too much either. But you said the shafts are pre-built. Is that not the part? I mean, what goes into a custom fitting with them there then?
Yeah, so when you go and do your custom fit, when I say the shafts are pre-built, what I mean is just the type of shaft. So you've got all the different manufacturers like Nippon, Mitsubishi, all kinds of different golfing shaft manufacturers. All their kit is in the custom fit facility already. And of course, when you're at a professional or a custom fit place, there's people like Scott Gourley are pretty well known, Scott Cleland in Scotland, and a good few others. Down here in England, there would be a place called Custom Golf Works.
Yeah.
There is Club Champion Golf as well, which I think is well known throughout the country. And you would go there, and the folks would basically do a bunch of shots with you to figure out what the right shaft is. It could be shaft length, shaft stiffness, all kinds of different things that go into getting the right combination for you, because based on your swing profile, based on how you hit it, you might need the lie angles flatter or more upright, you might need a shorter or longer shaft, you might need regular shaft, a soft shaft, a senior shaft, could be graphite or steel. There's so many different options.
Yeah, combos.
And then all of them are like accommodated through that facility. It's really impressive.
What was it like walking in there? Like, what were your first impressions? What did you see first, in fact?
Yeah, the first impressions were pretty cool. So when I drove round the corner to basically go up a kind of tiny side road to get to it, first thing I see is a massive graphic of Shane Lowry on the side of the building. Like the full height of the building's got a picture of Shane Lowry. So I'm like, yeah, I've found the right place. I think this is where I need to be going. And I really like Shane Lowry anyway. I think he's a great golfer, and I always knew he used Srixon equipment, so that kind of sets the tone. Then the product manager who took me around, who's incredibly experienced, a guy called Joe Miller, he's fantastic. He opened the door, welcomed me in, and the first thing I see is 2 tour bags signed by Hideki Matsuyama, and I'm like, wow. Because I really, as much as I love Srixon, I love Hideki Matsuyama anyway, and he happens to use Srixon gear, so he's fantastic golfer. Obviously won the Masters, and just love his golf swing. Just love his kind of temperament when he's out playing. He's really really talented. So
Yeah.
yeah, just what a way to start. You go in and you're like, oh, there's Hideki's two tour bags that have been signed. So get pictures of those, and it's just a brilliant way to go into the opening of the facility.
Yeah. What is? I think I mentioned last time round, Srixon was a brand that I hadn't really heard of. 20 odd years ago when I was starting to play, it was always like when I was a kid, it was, Titleist, Callaway, all and the like. Oh, can you tell me a bit about, or for people out there listening too, like where does Srixon actually sit in the market? Because when I came back to it, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe they were a new kind of budget brand or whatever, but obviously that's not the case, is it? Like, what's their kind of story and how they came up in the last 20 years? Or maybe I was just dumb and didn't know them at the time. Like, where did they sit?
I think you and I were in the same boat, Colin. And what actually happened was, I mean, actually, I'll go back to how it came about in terms of the visit, but this sort of links. I joined a golf course called Army Golf Club, which is near me. So that's just an Aldershot. And ended up playing with a guy called Matt Allen. Matt's a very good golfer, played on Challenge Tour, played on like the Euro Pro Tour. And I was playing with him, he turned back amateur, and he was using Srixon clubs. And I didn't even really know that, I just kind of noticed he was hitting the ball really well, like he had this ability to hit the ball really high and really far and really well. And I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, I
yeah.
don't have that in the locker. And I just said, oh, what kind of clubs are you using? And he said, well, it's a company I work for, so I work for Srixon. And he showed me these irons. And I think I'd heard of them, but I didn't really know that, just like you, I didn't really know that much about them. So that kind of got me into them. But I'd say they're, in terms of quality, they're a premium brand, absolutely premium brand, really well known in Japan, which is where their origins are. And the Japanese market for golf clubs is pretty well known for high quality. It's in the culture. Everything you see, or everything you tends to be that everything you see that comes from Japan looks really good. So
Yeah.
these clubs, they've got like a unique sole on the irons. They've got like what they call a V sole. So it is literally shaped like a V if you look at like along the sole plate of the irons. And yeah, like they just, I think what they've done is they've just continually focused on quality
Mm.
rather than, get the price at a point and just ship as many as they can. They've kept a pretty consistent price profile, which is, it's almost at the same kind of level as some of the other brands now, but probably just below. But the quality, they just keep producing really good quality, or really incredible quality clubs, and they don't do drops every year. So the irons get updated every 2 years or around that, sometimes 3 years, but typically two. The woods are the same, so they don't just drop out, five different driver versions a year. They really take their time, they release a really high quality product. So I think that's really I'd say that's the genesis of the brand, is they focus on that quality side, and
Yeah.
really good custom engineering for the blades. The forging in Japan's kind of well renowned for being really pure, getting
Yeah.
all the impurities out of the steel. So yeah, just really, really high quality company.
Yeah. I only kind of realised quite recently, actually, I think once you'd start talking about your visit there, and I looked into it a wee bit more, that they're related to Cleveland as well. I didn't actually know that was kind of or the same family.
Yeah,
My Cleveland launcher that I was talking about
get
breaking
the
a couple of weeks
launcher.
ago.
The Cleveland launcher that's been launched.
Indeed, launched in the bin now, down the range. But yeah, so are they kind of the lower? Because I think they are maybe less premium. Are they kind of? Is that how it works? Do they
No,
come in different tiers,
Cleveland
or are
is
they?
just and there's another brand called Zexio, which is a double XIO, so it's
Ah,
pronounced Zexio, I
yeah,
hope. So there's
you
so
think?
there's those three brands actually. So Cleveland is
Yeah,
just the wedgies. I mean, they do still make. I think they do still make some irons,
yeah,
and they certainly make putters. So the putters are really high quality as well. I mean, they're not. They're probably not as broadly used, the putters, as other brands, but they're certainly really well made. I've had a couple of Cleveland putters in the
okay.
past. One which I
Uh,
regret selling because it was, and I sold it for £1 at a car boot sale, sadly. Um, but this putter that was called a TA milled one, and it was like what you call an oil can putter, so
Yeah.
just a really nice finish on it. It looked like a Scotty Cameron, and you had to spray WD-40 or oil on it to keep the finish on it. And of
Yeah.
course that kind of fell away and it ended up all rusty and I binned it. But yeah, Cleveland wedges are of course really renowned for Roger Cleveland with the design. So they're right at the top of the market competing with Oki. Then the
Right, okay, yeah, I'll
Zexio
take that back.
typically is more kind of senior golf, ladies golf, and they're quite an expensive brand actually, Zexio, so they're right at the top end of prices. And
Right,
again,
okay.
just really high quality. But the brand that I don't know if it's that they push the most, but certainly the brand they go to market with most aggressively is Srixon in
Yeah.
terms of irons, and then on the wedges it's Cleveland.
Yeah, cool. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was kind of mistaken on that then. Yeah, they're all kind of level, just they have different specialities essentially. Um, so getting back to the factory, like this is the custom built place for the whole of Europe. That's kind of mental that is. I mean, that's got to be quite big. Um, did you actually see them putting the stuff together? Like, did you see the
Yeah,
workshop for them
like
actually
it
building the
was
things?
complete. It was complete insider stuff. It was fantastic. Like I got to walk down the assembly aisles when the folks were putting them together. I got to walk through the picking facility, and I didn't really know what to think when I was going there. I was kind of thinking it'd be maybe, I don't know, like 5 or 10 people building clubs, and the size was bigger than I thought it would be. Like it's proper warehouse size. I imagine other brands have got bigger warehouses because they probably ship more kit, but considering this is only custom fit, and that's the thing I need to keep reminding myself of, is only custom fit,
Aye. So
right?
all
So
the normal
obviously,
clubs are elsewhere still.
yeah, they're obviously still
Yeah.
shipping, irons straight out, they're shipping drivers straight out, they're
Yeah.
shipping utility irons straight out, all of that stuff. And I don't know what the percentage is, but let's just say, even at the max, 15% is custom fit. Like, their facility generally then is going to be 7 times the size of this to have a warehouse, so that really impressed me. And yeah, when I went in, like I literally got to see the physical pieces of paper that were printed out with all the custom orders,
Oh, really?
and it was like a ream and a half of paper. So it's about 750 sheets every day coming in with club requests from all over Europe,
Really?
which
Is it
which
is
I
it
think
very
is
automated?
phenomenal.
Yeah, totally. Is it very automated, or is it quite like you say, walking down the aisles where they're assembling things? Are people literally like gluing heads on shafts, or
Yeah,
is it all kind of robotic?
yeah,
Really?
no, and I even thought, I guess foolishly, and I'm sure it's done in other companies, I sort of thought there must be some element, and maybe that happens on the standard kit, I don't know, but I thought
Yeah.
it'd be some element of robotics. There wasn't really any. I found that really interesting. And yeah, what happens is it's a bit like seeing, I guess, an Amazon order or, something for online shopping. So the picker, effectively gets a sheet and there's like a trolley. So there's a trolley goes round, and the trolley has got all the different sets. So there's like maybe, I think there was sheets, 8 sheets of A4 on each trolley with 8 custom build requests. So the picker person goes down each aisle. So they first of all go down the head aisle, pick the right heads for all 8 sets, put them
Mm-hmm.
on the trolley. Then they're down the shafts. So they're down the shaft aisle, and the ferrules, the little plastic part at the end of the shafts, you can get
Yeah,
custom
yeah,
ferrules
yeah,
as well, which are really nice.
yeah.
So then it's down the shaft aisle and you're picking 8 different sets. They've got a really nice way of doing that, so it's very, very organised. So once you've been there a while, you know exactly where you're going for exactly what you have to do. All the shaft lengths are at the right size and stuff. Then it's down the grip aisle, picking up the grips. And then once you've done that, it's like right into the facility where they actually assemble the clubs, and they go through everything. So they check the length of the shafts, they check the weight of the heads to make sure. So all of that has been quality checked, but still in the custom fit facility, they take all the heads in and get weighed to make sure they're the right weight within a
Yeah.
gram. Seriously. They do all the shafts, make sure the same thing, they're within a gram in terms of
Mm-hmm.
weight. Then they're obviously, they can see the grips have just picked him up, but they definitely go back to the shafts and the heads. Then they're doing stuff like on a steel shaft, you have to cut them to the right size. Graphite's the same, of course, but they then go into just cutting to the right size for all the different irons. They then measure them again, make sure they're the right length. You know that thing you talk about, measure twice and
Maybe
cut once?
twice. Yeah,
They
yeah.
definitely do all of that. And then they've picked the head, so um, the shaft goes into the head, and there's a set of bays of people who do shafts and the heads. There's people who do the measuring, so that it's all separate. It's not just
Mm,
one person that wheels a trolley around and does every part, which I found interesting.
yeah.
They then get
So
passed on.
assembly line. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got your speciality. So you've put the shaft in, you've got it glued, then you're putting the grip on. The grip is a bay or a kind of station as well. And I'm not joking, Joe Miller, who's the product manager there, I mean, I put grips on myself and I was ashamed watching them. It was honestly, it was triggering for me personally, looking at how badly I've put grip tape on.
Yeah.
So Joe said to me, "Well, this is where we do the grip tape," and he's like, "I'll just do one to show you." And I'm like, "Okay." And I thought, well, if he does this is going to take like 10 minutes out of his time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, they get 2 layers of grip tape, whacked it on perfectly, and I mean, there wasn't a sign of a seam on this grip tape when it went on the shaft. And he did a double layer in one go, which I'd never seen before. So,
Really.
like, he literally put two pieces of grip shaft together, just slightly overlaid, and then whacked him on the clubs, put them on, and then he, just showed me how he would do the same thing with the gripping part. So what they do is they've got a build-up layer. They've got some tape that can be a build-up layer and it's not double-sided. And then on top of that, they'll put effectively a sticky layer, which is double-sided.
Yep.
Does that, and then says, right, go down to the next bay. But before he did that, he then whipped that grip tape straight back off. And this whole process, Colin, it would have taken me 20 minutes, right? He's done
You've
it in
been
like three.
you've t- you've talked quite a lot recently about how hard it is to get grip tape off. I
Yeah,
guess it's harder once it's been there a while, but still, that sounds a
yeah.
different level of experience.
And if Stevie Carmichael's listening, he'll have a laugh because I once tried to put a grip on a broom handle putter and it's in two separate parts because the grip's so
Yeah.
long.
Oh
And he
yeah.
was kind of joking about me because I'd played golf with him quite soon after that. And he was joking about me almost breaking a rib trying to put this grip on. I'm not joking, it was horrendous, right? Thanks for listening to Link by Golf. I also co-host a new podcast with Colin Gray called Both Sides of Par. Every episode explores the different sides of the game, from drills and practice habits to course strategy, mindset, equipment, and the realities golfers face at every handicap level. If you enjoy the conversations here, I think you'll really love this one too. Follow Both Sides of Par now on your favourite podcast platform so you don't miss the first episodes. Just search for Both Sides of Par or go to bothpar.com. Now let's get back to the pod. So yeah, I've watched Joe put this grip tape on
Yeah.
perfectly, like I'd never seen before in my life. Then we go down to the grip, putting the grip on station. The guys use lots of solution, which I found really interesting, way more solution than I use.
Mm,
So they just don't have any problems getting the grip on. And of
yeah.
course, the guy whips the grip on, he's got a laser, but he can do it by eye because he's so good at it. So he literally does it by eye, checks it with the laser, there you go, there's your grip on. And end to end, like these guys are building these sets effectively in minutes.
Really.
Where if you gave that to the lay person to try and do, you'd be there for hours. It was really,
Yeah.
really incredible.
That's really cool. Yeah. So Joe Miller's a product manager, is that it? So
Yeah.
what's his role in it?
So he does like lots of different things. He actually approves all the specs of all the irons.
Mhm.
So, when you go on, or you can go on to like whatever manufacturer's website, but if you go on to Srixon.com, they've got their specs for all the irons.
Mhm.
So it tells you the length, it tells you the swing weight, it tells you, grip size, etc., 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 loft and lie angles. So Joe's actually the person that approves all of those and makes sure that they make sense based on what the club is trying to do. whether that's a 7 iron, whether it's a hybrid, a utility, whatever it is. So Joe approves all of that. So his product knowledge is phenomenal. And while we're going around the factory, there's people coming up to him all the time, and I'm not joking. What they're talking about is they're like, look, I've built this club, or I'm at this stage of the build process. We've got 2 grams here, and I'm just thinking, wow, they are all over like 1 or 2 grams out.
Yeah.
And Joe will have the answer. Like he just knows what to do. It could be change something a little bit, move something there. And at any point, if any club doesn't pass each bay in terms of quality, it goes back to the start, and they
Really?
just
Yeah.
restart for that whole set. In terms of at least that one club.
Oh, that club.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so then once the grip's on, as you can imagine, it's pretty much getting ready to go. But even then, they still go back, they check the lie angle, the loft angle, they weigh it again to make sure it is exactly the right weight they expect it to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I can't believe how detailed this process is from end
Yeah.
to end. And it's every single stage at the end. And then eventually they put a little sticker on. I think they do 3 different shafts. So they put on like the 7 iron, the wedge, and maybe the 4 iron or something. But 3 out of 6 of the clubs will get a little sticker on it to say it's been quality checked by
Nice.
Srixon. It's really, really impressive.
It is. That sounds impressive. Yeah, you're selling me on a pair of Srixon clubs for the next time round. That's the thing, isn't it? As soon as you see it behind the scenes, as soon as I've always found this with food and drink, particularly. Like if you go and do a tour of a whiskey distillery or a beer brewery or something like that, you always feel more tied to that brand and end up liking it better as soon as you've seen, how well, changing tack altogether again, but how the sausage is made. As soon as you
Yeah.
see how the sausage is made, you're like so tied into that brand. Is that how you feel even more now? You were already a Srixon fan, weren't you? But does that
I
really
was
tell you
already a
in?
big fan. I've had 4 sets of Srixon irons, and I've still got Srixon irons today. And I mean, I love them. I think they're fantastic quality. I like the feel of them. But yeah, seeing that whole process just made me even more secure in what is coming out the factory. It really was.
Yeah,
It was phenomenal, Colin. Truly
yeah,
phenomenal.
that's really
And
cool.
just the
Yeah,
detail, the skill level of the people working there. And I said before I went in, I thought there'd maybe be like 10 people. There was 20 people building clubs,
yeah,
and that's after there's probably 6 people in the warehouse doing the picking.
yeah,
And there's just like it's hard to describe how much golf kit is in this facility. There was, I would say, there was just hundreds of built sets that I could see
yeah,
that are in a pile, very neat and tidy pile, of course, in
yeah,
the corner. They're all ready to get shipped. So they're in the last stage. So you see that's the shipping area. You've got all the stuff getting shipped in. You see all the boxes with custom fit on it.
yeah,
And you get down those aisles and it's every type of head they've got. Whether that's the ZXIs, whether it's the ZU hybrids, whether it's their new high launch versions. Everything's in there. And it's just hard to comprehend how much is actually in the facility.
I mean, that's really cool going through the build process. It's really interesting to hear how they come together. And the one thing you've got at the end of your notes here around the loft and the lie check, like how does that work? So once they've built the club, they've gone through head, shaft, grip, everything's ready. Do they actually have somebody hitting balls with it, or is there someone more technical than that?
It's all just measurement, but actually, if something is just off, they've got a little net out the back they'll go and hit a ball into just to check it. So they
Mm.
do have that. They'll make sure that everything's absolutely. I mean, it is millimeters they're talking about in grams.
Mm.
It's not.
Yep.
It's not like it's 5 grams out because that, as Joe would tell you, that will change his swing weight. So I learned. I don't know enough about swing weight and what all that means, quite
Mm.
truthfully. But what Joe was explaining, it makes a lot of sense, is you can change the swing weight profile of a club by putting too big a grip on it. So,
Okay.
and you can imagine it's pretty much physics, right? If something's heavy at the top, it'll feel lighter at the bottom. If it's heavier at the bottom, it'll feel lighter at the top. And then you can actually get, I found this really interesting because we were talking not necessarily about speed training, right? But how people can add maybe a bit of distance to their irons very, very easily. And Joe was sort of saying, well, somebody might make the head a little bit heavier or lighter. They might make the grip a little bit heavier or lighter. So they've got a faster, basically, outcome at the ball as they're swinging. And
Yeah,
I'm just totally fascinated at that point. It was really phenomenal.
What what surprised you most about the visit? Were there any particular surprises or anything that, an average golfer wouldn't expect about how clubs are put together?
I think the fact that a lot of it, or in fact pretty much all of it, was really a human that's doing it. I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
think, and maybe it's true in the non-custom fit, but then you'd think, well, if you can do it for normal fit, why would you do it much differently for custom fit? But it is human beings putting it all together. I thought that was really, really cool. And what was nice is a lot of the people have been there a long time, so there's literally folks working in the warehouse that know where every single part is, whether that's a grip, whether it's a shaft, different types of shaft, different types of head. I mean, I got introduced to a guy, and Joe said you could literally say a part number to the guy, and he'll tell you where it is and what aisle and
really.
what height it's up.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal.
I
And the
know this
guys worked
place.
there for a
Yeah,
long, long time, and they they appear to treat the staff really well. The tenure's really long across the whole team,
mm,
so that's an indication, right, that the people enjoy working there. And there's
yeah,
people that are into golf, some that are not into golf, all work there. So it's a really nice mix of a place.
yeah. I just looked up in the background there. You asked earlier on about the percentage of clubs that are made custom fit. Apparently, I've not got data on Srixon specifically, but generally over half apparently of all new premium clubs sold are custom fit these days, which
Wow, I didn't
surprises me.
know
Yeah,
that. I
more than
didn't know that.
half. That was a couple of different studies, Golf Data Tech and Golf Digest. 55% ish of irons and drivers. It does say here for like premium clubs or serious golfers, so you'd imagine that they'd be a kind of higher percentage. So it's not all clubs, but yeah, it's still quite a lot, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference. And I've had a bit of that experience. Well, I've had a lot of that experience, to be fair, actually, over the years, Colin. But I'd mentioned on the pod changing my grips, right?
Mm,
So
yep, yep,
I have changed my grips, I have changed the profile, probably changed the weight, and made impacts that I'm not even aware of in terms of swing
yep.
weight.
Hmm.
But even simpler than that is the lie angle. So at some point, I did like my clubs quite flat because of where my swing was at, and I've
Yeah,
been working on my swing a bit and how I'm hitting the ball, and it's actually changed that profile. So they were getting too flat, and
yeah,
just in the last week or two, I managed to get them just knocked 1 degree upright, which doesn't sound much, but it makes a huge difference when you get to actually swinging the club, and that's really, really changed it. So, when you think about the tour pros, especially if their equipment is just out, they will feel it.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
we're not playing golf for a living, right? We will have a sense of feel. We'll know when our club that we've had before is shorter or longer. We'll definitely pick up on that. But the pros will pick up a club and they'll know the weight's different.
mm,
And it might only be a couple of grams when they swing it, and they're like, that's totally different. What have you done to it?
yeah.
Because they're so tuned in. So yeah, I found that part really fascinating. The level of detail that people go into as club manufacturers.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think then, like seeing all of that, do you think, so going back again as well to the serious versus amateur to golfer, is it worth it for me? Like, is it worth it for a golfer at
100,
my level, like 20
100%.
plus? Yeah, really?
100%. What I would say is if you get custom fit to a set of irons that are cast
Mm.
rather than forged,
Hmm.
that might be a challenge in the future because moving an iron that's cast is really, really tough. Like they
What does that
warp.
mean?
So it's just the type of the way they do it. Like cast tends to be an alloy and it's a bit more brittle, whereas the forged is usually pure steel and a bit easier to move. I mean, it's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
entirely easy, but if you've got the right machine, you can move it fairly easily.
What do you
Um,
mean by move it? Like to a new shaft, or are you talking
no,
about loft there?
move the hosel of the club to make it the lie angle change or the loft
Ah, so you
angle
can
change.
change the loft. Yeah,
Yeah, so
okay.
you can change the loft, you can change the lie angle. But if you've got a set of cast clubs, that's really quite difficult. Like
Right.
you're on the verge of breaking them if you try to move. It's possible, and I've had it done in the past, but you want to, if you think, I guess along the short way around it is, if you think that your golf swing might change to the point that the clubs are requiring a different profile in the future, you'd be best to get forged. And you can get forged cavity back clubs or kind of, I guess, combo sets and things. So that would future proof you. You know, say you go, right, I'm really into my golf again, I'm really going for it. I want to get a really nice set of irons, and you just love the look of a set of Srixons or whatever other brand. You go, I'm going to go custom fit, and then that little thing in your brain goes, oh, but what if my swing changes? Well, if they're forged clubs, you can move them. You
Yeah.
can take them to a professional or a club maker and get them moved as you need. So if your swing profile changes like mine has over the last few months, my clubs were too flat. Perfect. I take them somewhere. 20 minutes later, I've got them a little bit more upright. Fantastic. And then I just keep an eye on it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I had no idea that was possible at all.
Yeah.
And also in terms of the head weight and stuff like that as well. I think my impression of custom fitting was essentially just getting the right height, you know, like the length
Yep.
of the shaft. And I guess I was aware of the fact that you got different stiffness of shafts as well, so that would matter too. But then again, I I almost didn't see that as custom fitting. That was like you just go to the range and you try the different shafts and you find the one that suits you. Or
Yeah.
yes, but the combination of length and stiffness, but then adding in a different head, like that seems crazy to me. The different weight and stuff like that as well. I mean, how easy is that? Is that, do they actually forge or cast those ones to set a weight, or do they have like weight inserts and stuff like
They've
that?
got
Did you see that
they've
stuff?
just got standard weights that they'll build to, and then they've
Okay,
got a
yeah, so
tolerance.
they've got a range. Yeah,
When it's in the custom fit factory, there's not really a huge amount they can do. But if something potentially went wrong, you could put a tiny little bit amount of glue. I'm not saying that
mm.
Srixon would do that, but you could add more glue in the bottom of the shaft when you're putting it in, and that's probably enough to move it a gram or something. But that's the tolerance. If it's more than a gram out, that head is dead to them. It's going
Yeah,
back.
that's crazy.
Going to
What do
metal.
they do with those? Did you find out?
Yeah, well, they're great for recycling. That was a funny thing. You know, because there's obviously the heads come in, they're plastic wrapped and all that stuff. There's a lot of plastic wrapping. Not a huge amount, but there's enough when you look at a golf club and you've got thousands of them. There's quite a lot of plastic, but
Mm-hmm.
each custom fit trolley's got just a little bucket that's got a collector for putting all it. So every time they take a piece of plastic off, it goes in this collector and it goes in a specific recycle, which I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. What about the heads though? So if a head is off weight, what does it like? Do they take? What do they do with
Yeah,
those?
I think they
Chuck them.
just, well, they would go back, and I guess they would just get, melted down again and back into the process in some way.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
could reuse them that way. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, but they just don't tolerate things being out by much
Yeah,
at all, which is great.
like anything.
And if
Yeah,
somebody cuts the shaft the wrong size, it's like tough. You need to cut another one. So your quality score as a builder of a club goes down because you haven't
yeah.
cut the shaft to the right size. I thought that was
They
really
got
reassuring as
they got
well.
measured on that.
Yeah, like everybody I guess has got measured in terms of quality. They didn't
Mm.
have it like an American place with scores on the board, but there's going to be things are going to get caught because they're so on top of it all the way through.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like they look after their staff well enough though that they probably get a load of training, they get a load of support to get that
Yeah,
stuff
and the
right. So
people,
that's
I
really
can
cool.
see people asking each other stuff. I guess, and I should ask this, but I can't remember if I did. I don't want to say it's true, but I think they probably rotate around the different capabilities as well. So you become an expert at putting grips on, like, and I'm talking like true expert level. It's not, like folk go, "Oh, I can put a grip on," and I had my eyes definitely opened a lot by doing this. It's got to be proper precision. And even just putting the tape on, I learned some little things about how to do it quickly with
Some good
quality,
tricks.
which were fantastic, yeah.
I mean, I know you were, like we said earlier, you were already a bit of a fan of Srixon anyway. Did just this change your perception in any way? Did it make you just more of a fan, or
Just made it, I
um,
guess it tied me even more to the brand in terms of
yeah,
thinking they're
yeah,
just a really high quality and I really like them. And
yeah,
so, excuse me, circling back on how it came around, it was just the fact that one, they're close to the
hmm
house, and I knew they were fairly close. I've always known that. Two, I really like the brand, so I wanted to try and get some kind of experience and speak to them, even if it was just to speak to Joe, the product manager, which I've done as well. I've interviewed him, which was phenomenal. And then three, I just wanted to see the inside of a golf club factory. I mean, what golf geek wouldn't, right?
Who wouldn't? Yeah.
So yeah, it was just that. That was just the thing from the start, and
Yeah.
it took quite a while to get there. It took me about 6 months going back and forward with Srixon and their marketing team, and I guess just building the trust that they could listen to other podcasts that I've done, and I was just always guaranteeing, like we would do, Colin, that anything that's said in the podcast they would get to approve before it goes out, which isn't always the case with a media
Yeah.
set up. If they go and do an interview, that interview might go out as it is, and that might not be what they want necessarily if somebody said the wrong thing. So I just reassured them on that they had final edit, and I'm really pleased to say they've given blessing to the audio I've taken. I've
Yeah.
got some photographs, which I'm waiting to get approved as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to release those too.
That's great. Yeah, so if you're out there listening, you want to hear that, that'll be on your show, your other show, Ross,
Yeah.
Linked by Golf. So if you search Linked by Golf on wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find that there.
Yeah, I'll be out towards the end of March, Colin, just before the Masters, so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to getting that one out.
Nice. Okay, cool. That was really interesting. Yeah, great to hear more about that. Very jealous as well. That'd be really cool to see. So yeah, perfect.
And Joe himself, not only is he a master club builder, he's actually been a tour caddy.
Oh,
And he's
really?
caddied for major winners, especially on the ladies' tour.
Yeah.
So he was just fantastic. What a character. So full of knowledge. Just,
Yeah.
there wasn't a thing that this guy doesn't know about golf. And
Yep.
and that includes the history, just of the game in general, and then the history of Srixon, Cleveland, all the different things coming together. Yeah, he's just a really fantastic guy. So he made it, he made it really special. And I thought going there I'd be in for, like 40 minutes, an hour, plus maybe an interview. I mean, I ended up spending hours in there. It was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I could have stayed all day actually, just messing around. And the staff were great that way. Like,
Yeah.
they almost, I wouldn't say they shut down production, but obviously I'm not necessarily interrupting, but when somebody's there, they're going to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
But they were just really accommodating. It was fantastic.
Aye, that's great. Yeah, really nice to hear. All right. Anything else you want to cover, Ross? I never actually asked up front whether you had any competitions for this week or not, but do you have any
I've
to
always
mention?
got a competition up my
I thought
sleeve,
you
Colin,
would.
of course
I
I
thought you
have.
would. I thought you
And
would.
I think you're gonna like this one. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
I've mentioned it before, and I'm in danger of maybe doing this, but one very close to you in Golspie.
Oh,
So the
yeah,
Golspie
okay.
Open.
Yeah. I don't
is
remember
on-
you mentioning one before,
I
but
don't
yeah,
think I've
okay, go
mentioned
for it. Go
Golspie.
for it.
No, I think
Yeah.
I might have mentioned others nearby, possibly
Mhm.
Brora. But the Golspie 18-hole Open is on Saturday the 13th of June.
Mhm.
36 handicap limit, and it's £35 to play what is
Nice,
known
okay.
as one of the best courses up in the Highlands, and meant to be fantastic.
Great. Okay. Yeah, that's one for me then. Yeah, definitely. Head up for that. I'd love to play Golspie actually. I'm currently scheming with my dad to go and play a few courses up that way, probably Tane, and a couple of others. Golspie was actually part of the plan, maybe Brora as well. But maybe we could do Tane and Brora and as a trip, and then do Golspie as the Open instead. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think you'd love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it looks awesome. So
Yeah.
just up past Dornoch as well.
Indeed. Perfect. All right. Thanks then, Ross. Is there anything else you want to cover today, or will that do it for this time round?
No, I think we're good.
Oh, good. Thank you out there for listening as well. We'd love to get some feedback. If you can, please do email us in. You'll see it in the description. So just whatever you listen to your podcast in, hit that details or description tab and you'll see our email address right in there. You should be able to click it right from there and it should open up an email. We'd love to hear basically what you like about the show, what you don't like, what you'd like us to do more of in future. This was obviously a little bit of a different episode. We're just covering Ross's Srixon visit, but usually it's a bit of a variety show covering training, drills, different experiences, watching a bit of golf too. So yeah, We'd love to hear what you like about the show, what you don't, and what you want to hear more of in future. Please do email us through, and we can make the show better for you. Otherwise, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.